My name is Natalie, and I go by Rice Bunny Baby on various social media platforms. Today, I wanted to give a PSA service announcement for anybody who is a victim or anybody who knows a victim of abuse. So, there is going to be a trigger warning ahead, and I'm going to basically run through something that I went through recently and basically giving my experience to you so that you can also be wary and notice these things so that, you can probably protect yourself or somebody else from potential harm or abuse. Now, before I delve into this topic, I do want to inform the viewer that if you are a victim or you know somebody who is one, to please gather as many resources as you possibly could, as many hotlines as you could, and as well as give or ask for support, reassurance if you need it, because truthfully, you do not deserve any of this to be happening to you. You did not deserve any of it whatsoever. Your comfort, your well-being, and your safety should not be infringed upon at all. So, now that that is out of the way, let's get into the topics. Now, the first topic that I want to touch on is red flags. Now, we hear a lot about red flags, and sometimes we kind of brush them to the side because we just want to assume that some people can do better. But I do want to inform that if you notice any red flags and you ignore them, some of them may come back to bite you. So it is very important to read red flags when they are being presented to you. And here are a couple red flags that I am going to point out from my experiences that may also help you. Red flag number 1 is their concern for your well-being, your safety, and your comfort. If they do not show any signs of caring about those 3 things, that's an immediate red flag. Because then at that point, they're not actually caring about you, but they care about what they can get out of you. Red flag number 2, body language. If they're overly nervous people, consistently apologetic, or timid as a personality, that is something to look out for, because usually only people who are very secretive are either hiding something or have ill intent will be very timid, constantly apologetic because they have made numerous mistakes to the point where they always have to apologize, or they seem to be very on edge a lot of the time, most likely because of secrecy. And red flag number 3 is noticing the simple things that you just don't like about them. If something about them makes you uncomfortable, if your intuition is telling you that there's something off about this person, you're usually most likely probably right. So also the red flag is not listening to yourself. So yeah. Now the next topic I want to touch on is responsibility, and this can go both ways. Now I say that this topic goes both ways because there are responsibilities on both ends of the situation. The abuser's responsibility and the victim's responsibility. And this can also pertain to relationships as well. Now, when it comes to the abuser has a responsibility to understand that their choices may be harmful and that they also have a choice. But ultimately, whatever outcome it is their responsibility of whether or not they choose whether to be harmful or whether to be anything other than that, anything different. And on the side of the victim, it is also the victim's responsibility to understand the situation that they are in, understand the severity of the situation, and whether or not they should leave or take responsibility for their own life in their own hands. And this does not mean victim blaming whatsoever. Now, I want to point out that victim blaming is absolutely unacceptable. You can never blame somebody for the harm that they have never asked for, just like how you can never blame somebody for living the life that they live when they never asked to exist. It is not fair to them, and it is only fair to the abuser. So I heavily influence people to be careful of your behavior and be careful about the words that you say to someone, because victim blaming can actually drive someone to an even worse point as someone who is going through abuse. Now, I want to point out as well that just because you feel like you are responsible in being with the person, staying with them, it also means that you are not obligated to stay by them. And I want to remind people as well, and any victims, anyone who is tolerating any kind of mistreatment, that you are not obligated to stay with this person, and you are definitely not obligated to help this person in order for you to feel safe, in order for you to feel comfortable, and in order for you to feel content with them. You don't have to wait for people to better themselves in order for you to be happy, because you should be happy as it is. And if they're bringing you harm, then they're bringing you harm. There's no other way around it. So, understand for yourself what you want to be responsible for and what you don't want to be responsible for. And now the next topic that I want to touch on is probably the most important topic, but healing. Healing is not a linear thing for everyone. Healing is actually very complicated depending on the person. As somebody who has borderline personality disorder, PTSD, anxiety, and depression, healing is probably one of the most difficult things to go through. And I want to tell you, as someone who has gone through a lot of healing, that it's going to be hard. We have to mentally prepare ourselves for the most difficult things to happen and experience difficult things in order to learn how to heal. But healing can also be seen as something that helps ourselves, that can give ourselves the power that we wanted back after going through really traumatic and horrible times. So, this might not work for everybody, but for me personally, I have sought therapy. I have also a support group of friends that I always go to and tell them everything that I'm going through, so that I at least don't feel alone and that people understand that I'm going through something. Or I try to seek help in other resources, trying to have fun, going out dancing, just doing anything that fulfills your three needs. That is your comfort, your safety, and your happiness. So, as long as you're focusing on those three things for yourself and yourself only, then you will slowly start to recognize what serves you and what doesn't serve you. And some of these things are also taught in therapy, and understandably, some people may think that therapy isn't for them, which is also perfectly fine. Everybody goes at their own pace. But as long as you focus on those three aspects of life for yourself, you should be okay. Now, to conclude this, I do want to say this with an end note, that you are deserving. You are beautiful. You are amazing just the way you are, no matter what anybody says, because you are you, and you are living your own life, and you should live it like as if you are the main character of your own movie, because again, it is your life. Take control over it, take responsibility over it, and take your life in your own hands. Don't let your life fall into the hands of somebody else that may harm you, that may manipulate you or do you any harm, because you are living your own life, not for anybody else, but yours alone. So, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope your day is better, and make sure to give some support to the people around you and treat everybody with the respect that they deserve.